Wow.
So every person in that team is generating 4 million euros. And
so do you understand now why you never got that job after 3 months?
yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, but
So, when they say this whole, there's no money and everyone's in recession.
the economy is bad, all that
Yeah.
crap. Yeah.
What's your take on that?
My take on that is so I don't know if you guys, watch this stuff on TikTok, but the trend is that the job market is bad right now. There's literally 1 million graduates, computer science graduates, Oxford graduates, Cambridge graduates crying on TikTok saying, I've been trying for 6 months and I can't get a job. I'm like, dude, it's your fault.
And also, what would you say to people who are actually scared that the fact that AI will take their jobs?
The thing is, it's good to be scared because AI will take their jobs, right? No, seriously, if you look at the most powerful...
We're not bullshitting anymore. They are coming for you.
The most powerful man on the planet, Donald Trump, from the most powerful country on the planet, with the most powerful companies on the planet, OpenAI, and the most powerful investment banker on the planet, what's his name, Jisoo Sung or whatever, he runs SoftBank. SoftBank literally owns the planet. It's a VC fund, wow. Okay? What a VC fund invests the money of rich people in companies. SoftBank actually manages the money of the sovereign wealth fund of Saudi Arabia.
Welcome to another episode with your host Nasser, and this is Fitpod. Today we have a truly exciting guest, Bilal Gol. He's someone who has navigated multiple successful careers, from running his own digital marketing agency to becoming a top performer in tech sales. After spending years honing his skills in tech sales, he's now helping others achieve success in the same field through his coaching business alongside his wife, Lara. He also has an impressive background with an internship at Google in Ireland, which no doubt gave him a unique perspective on the competitive tech world. In this episode, we'll dive into his journey, discuss the mindset and skills needed to thrive in tech sales, and talk about what young people should be doing today when it comes to money, lifestyle, and education. Whether you're interested in breaking into the tech sales or simply just looking for some valuable career insight, this conversation is packed with practical tips and inspiration. So let's get started. Please welcome Bilal Gol. Sir, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Did you like your intro? We always ask our guests if they like the intro.
I loved it. I loved it. Thank you.
But yeah, I mean, how's it going? So you're quite big on TikTok. You have decided to help people. Mm-hmm. And why is that?
Yeah, it's funny because me and Laura, my wife, we just hit about 40,000 followers in total now.
Wow.
We just started posting actually back in August of 2024. Yeah, very recent. I had no idea. Wow. That this is going to go so big. The vision that I had for posting on TikTok was to basically build our coaching business, which is called Break Into Tech, where we help people from non-traditional backgrounds or disprivileged backgrounds, such as people from the Asian community, Muslim community, Black community, break into high-paying tech jobs. So obviously I'm Muslim, I'm an Asian guy, immigrant, didn't go to a good university, first in my family to go to university. It took me a long time to break into the tech industry. So I was like, I've done it. Now I want to help other people. And the best way to do that is to build your personal brand, which is why I started posting.
Well, that's interesting because that just goes to show, do you really need a university degree to kind of get that big job? Which everyone seems to they want their children or themselves to go to university and get a good job. So does that mean that you need to, or you don't have to have a good?
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Like a lot of people ask me that as well. So I went to Coventry University, right? Which is not the greatest institution.
I went there. It's all right. I went there for a couple of days.
So I studied my bachelor's there, and again, like what I've realized about the UK education system is that if you don't go to a top 20 Russell Group university, it's going to be very difficult for you to get a high-paying career in finance, in banking, in law. But the tech industry is the complete opposite. Mm-hmm. So you could skip university, or you could go to a bad university, like a quote-unquote bad university, and still break into a top tech company like Microsoft, like Google, like Apple, in a commercial role, like a sales role or a marketing role. It's still possible. So that's my perspective on it. I mean, would I recommend people to go to university? Yes, I would. If it's a top 20, top 30 university in the UK. If it's anything below that, I think you're better off using that 50 grand, not including the interest, using that 50 grand to do an apprenticeship or start a business, start a TikTok page, start a podcast like you guys, or do something else, especially in 2025.
That doesn't mean that we didn't go to university.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
we did go to university. Yeah. We just didn't do really well. We just didn't do it.
Realize 10 years later.
Yeah.
We wasted time. Can you imagine doing this 10 years ago? And now we would have been...
You guys would be Joe Rogan.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to get. I got too much hair yet for that. I'm just waiting for my hair to fall.
Another 10 years.
What has been the most challenging part of your early days in this industry?
Most challenging. I think the most challenging part was actually to break into the industry. So, I did my internship at Google in 2019.
Tell us a bit about that, because you know everybody in the tech sales wants to work for Google. And how are the offices like? What's the mindset behind working for a Google? Yeah,
so it was an incredible experience. So I did the internship at Google in Dublin, which is the European headquarters, in 2019. I was actually the second or third ever person to go there from Coventry University. So it was a really big deal. They wrote a newspaper article about it. You can find it online.
Oh, wow.
My experience was amazing, right? Like the office, there's 10,000 people that work there. It's basically like going back to university. It's all like a huge campus. Everyone lives together. They go out with each other. They get married. They have kids. There was 7 free restaurants, 7 buildings where you can have any types of food. I swear to God, you can go to any restaurant. You can have Indian food, Arabic food, Turkish food, Irish food for free. They had a dentist on the bottom floor. They had a psychologist. Even in my internship, okay, this is all verifiable information, by the way. You can go to Glassdoor. They paid us 12,000 euros for 3 months of work. For a 21-year-old guy or a 19-year-old guy, 12,000 euros in 2019.
3 months.
It's a lot of money, right? And the graduate scheme starting salary was like 65,000 euros. This is 6 years ago.
Wow.
So at 21, if you work at Google, you can be making 65,000. Which even today, it's a lot of money. And in 2019, it was a lot more.
Hell of a lot of money.
Yeah.
So why did you leave that?
So I didn't get the full-time offer to go back. So they had in the
Is
whole...
it because you went to Coventry Uni?
No, I think...
Hang on a second. We've had one slipped in, lads. Yeah. We've had one. How did that happen?
Diversity hire. No, I think... So I swear to God, everyone there was from Oxford or Cambridge, by the way. Everyone was from Oxford, Cambridge, Warwick, UCL, LEC, Imperial. Everybody that I was competing with. And the other thing I would say, by the way, this is why if you come from a disprivileged background, like a background where you're an immigrant or, you know, you've grown up in a certain environment, like us Asian people, right? Muslim people, Asian people, if your parents don't have a lot of money and they don't send you to private school, you're going to find it really difficult. So I swear to God, everyone that I was competing with at Google for the full-time offer at that internship were private school kids. Every single one of them.
Wow.
Every single one of them. And I didn't get the full-time offer because they were way better than me. They were way smarter. They were way better. They did a way better job at their internship and they had full-time offers. And they obviously liked me. That's why they gave me the offer. But they realized this other guy is way better than this guy, right? Like, and again, that goes back to your education. That goes back to like, what school did you go to? How much did you study? How smart were you? So I couldn't get the full-time offer, but I knew that I wanted to go back into the tech industry because no one in my entire family had got paid 12,000 euros for 3 months, right? Like, it was life-changing.
Wow. So what exactly did you do at Google? Like these other guys were better than you and, you know.
So the internship that I did at Google was in the... So Google has 2 main services they sell, right? So obviously $1 trillion company, blah, blah, blah. They actually have 2 main services where they generate money from. Google Cloud Services, right? So every company on the planet have a cloud system to store their data, and then they also sell advertising. I was in the advertising sales team in the UK Irish team, which is a very small team because the UK market is tiny. So I was in the sales team in that department, and my main role as an intern there was to learn about the sales process at Google. So we would cold call customers, cold call local businesses that were using Google ads or Amazon ads or Facebook ads, and we would convince them to buy Google ads, right? That's how you make more money. You sell more than your competitors, you make more money. So again, I guess what the other interns did that I didn't do was a better job at the actual role, which is why they had the full-time offer, and I didn't get it. But, I wasn't disheartened because I at that time I was running my own marketing agency anyway, so I was making really good money. So I was like, forget this. I will, leave this, to go back to university to finish, and then get another job in tech, which is what I did.
Wow, that's amazing because I've never met anyone who's actually worked firsthand in Google. We only hear about things, like this life at Google is, it's like a massive, like I said,
it's crazy, man.
It's just like a massive playground.
Yeah.
And you think to yourself, so if it's so relaxed from what it sounds like, how do people do work? Like, when do they do work?
The thing
is it like you just feel like, I don't feel like doing today?
No, the thing is you still have to do work. Like in my team, in that sales team, you had a quota, which is like how much money you need to generate for the business. Mm-hmm. The quota was €1 million a quarter. So for every employee, like every salesperson, they had to generate at least €1 million per quarter. So every 3 months. Wow. So every person in that team is generating €4 million. And
so do you understand now why you never got that job after 3 months?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, but it's like people think tech companies pay a lot of money. Well, they don't. Think about it. So per employee, they generate millions of dollars. If you can generate someone $3 million, wouldn't they pay you $300,000? Well, if you had an employee come to your business right now and they generated you $3 million, would you pay them $300,000?
Of course I would.
Would you pay them $500,000?
Of course I would.
Yeah, exactly. So it's the same thing. That's why people in tech, people in commercial law, or people in investment banking, they make millions. Literally, the best guys can make millions and millions of dollars, and it's because they generate millions and millions in revenue. So that's what people don't seem to understand about high-paying jobs. The reason that it's a high-paying job is because it's a revenue-generating job. You know what I'm saying? So that's what people, I think, need to understand about these kind of jobs.
Wow, that's amazing. So obviously, if someone's making you £10 million,
you pay them 100k, yeah, $1 million. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, I'll pay them $500,000 a year. Yeah, they're happy.
Yep.
Give them a free house. How much would that be?
Yeah, nothing. To you, nothing as a business owner. So that's what these tech companies do, right? That's what they do.
It's more like psychological mindset that they have. Okay, look after this guy. He's going to make us X amount of million.
Yep.
Fine, let him have the house, or that house is probably theirs anyway. So once you finish the job, the house is someone else's.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's an asset to them. Yeah.
Wow. So what do you think separates successful tech salespeople from those who struggle to break through? What's the difference between the two people?
I think people that break into tech sales, I would actually answer the question in a different way. So it's like, if you want to break into a software sales role right now in 2025, what you need initially is some sales experience, whether that's door-to-door sales, whether that's a customer service job, whatever, just to get something on your CV. And then you take that experience and leverage it to break into a tech company as a sales development representative, which is an entry-level tech sales job, right? And even in that role, you can make 35 to 65k a year with commission, and you can actually work remote. And then from there, you just basically progress your way into an account executive, enterprise account executive, and just keep building your career from there. That's the best way to do it right now.
So you need some kind of.
I would say most of these entry level tech sales jobs are advertised as you don't need that much experience, but it's always better to have some sort of experience, right? Like at the end of the day, it's the equivalent of a graduate job, which means you don't need that much experience. But if you have some sales experience, it makes that initial jump from not a tech sales job to getting a tech sales job like easier. We've worked with people actually. Like last week, I interviewed a guy. His name is Gav. He's actually from Birmingham as well. He's 23, Aston University graduate, studied economics, zero sales experience, zero tech experience. He's gonna make 57k this year, right? £40,000 base, 57K with commission at a fintech company, financial technology company. So it's like, you don't need experience, but if you have experience, you could do it much faster.
Which makes sense.
Right? Exactly, yeah.
You know, you've got that upper card.
Exactly, yeah.
Because you know what to expect, or
yeah,
how it feels when you get a rejection.
Yeah.
I think that probably helps you in terms of your mindset as well. Because somebody who doesn't have any experience and expecting to make 100 grand, but they don't realize how long it takes to make 100 grand.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know, for a person who's got zero experience, it might take them 6 months, for example. Or somebody who's got that upper card, it might take them 2 months.
Yep.
Just because they know what to say and when to say it, you know. And I suppose is that right? Or
yeah, for sure. I mean, look, if you already have experience in sales, the only sales job that you should be doing in 2025 is a software sales job. Like, I think the general population, like in general, know that you can get rich in sales. Like, rich meaning you can become a millionaire, let's say by the time you're 40, 50, whatever, right? Like, it's just a common sense thing. But in 2025, the only sales job that you should be doing is a software sales job, right? If you have experience, because the salaries are so high, the commissions are so high, it's obviously working in a tech company. Tech is taking over the whole world. So that's what I would say. And if you have a solid sales experience, leave your sales job, go into tech sales. Work in a tech company in a sales role. You'll make a lot more money.
Wow, that's good insight. That is, I might just do that myself. Straight after this episode. Can you just make my Spotify, please? Not Spotify, Shopify account, please. Yeah. Okay, can you walk us through the process of building your coaching business? What inspired you to start coaching others in tech sales?
Yeah, I mean, look, the inspiration was the same as what I said earlier, which is to help people from disprivileged backgrounds break into high-paying tech jobs, right? That was the inspiration, that was the motivation, that's the vision. And the way that we built it actually is just by posting content on TikTok. I swear to God, if you have any skill, like you're a fitness guy, right? You're pretty jacked. I'm looking at your picture there. If you didn't have this business,
I'm just good at Photoshop.
if you didn't have this business and you wanted to make money online, all you would have to do is stop posting content on TikTok, and you build your audience. So we started posting content on TikTok about tech sales, about careers, got to like 40,000 followers now combined. And then on the back end of that, we have an offer, a high ticket coaching offer. We have an appointment setter who does the appointment setting. We have a sales guy that does the sales and closing. I do the actual coaching. So that's primarily how I built it, really. Just posting content on TikTok.
It's very, very powerful now, isn't it? TikTok.
Yeah, if you can build it.
A lot of people are making some
crazy money, man.
Crazy.
I have a buddy of mine. I swear to God, he's not that big on TikTok, but he's more of a LinkedIn personal branding guy. He built £1 million business last year, coaching international students how to get visa approved jobs in the UK.
Wow.
So there's millions of graduates that come from India, Pakistan. The problem is they get kicked out within 2 years if they don't have a job. This guy figured that out, started posting content on TikTok, on LinkedIn and Instagram and TikTok, but primarily on LinkedIn. And he sells a coaching course. He made £1 million last year with this business. It's a 3-person business, so he's making, and he's 25.
Wow. So he's basically found a solution to the problem. He's selling solution.
But the most powerful thing, forget the solution for a second. He started posting content online.
Yeah.
Whatever thing you're doing, whatever coaching thing you're doing, whatever business you have, if you can build a personal brand on TikTok or Instagram or LinkedIn, you're just gonna make money. Like there's so much money out there. It's crazy.
So, when they say this whole, there's no money and everyone's in recession.
The economy's bad, all that crap, yeah.
What's your take on that?
My take on that is I don't know if you guys, watch this stuff on TikTok, but the trend is that the job market is bad right now. There's literally 1 million graduates, computer science graduates, Oxford graduates, Cambridge graduates crying on TikTok saying, I've been trying for 6 months and I can't get a job. I'm like, dude, it's your fault. You're not doing things properly. You're applying to jobs on Indeed. Bam, 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 bam. You're mass applying. The economy is not bad. you're bad. You're doing it incorrectly. You can't just be mass applying on Indeed like it's 2015 to get a high paying job. It doesn't work like that anymore. You have to be strategic. You have to network. You have to go to events. You have to build your personal brand. You have to join a community. You have to copy what someone else is doing that's successful. So I don't think the economy is bad. I think it's people that are either they're just not strategic enough, they're not networking, or they just don't have a skill set. Because if you have a skill set, no matter how bad or how good the economy is, you'll make money. If you're a business owner and you have a good skill set, you'll make money no matter what the economy is. Like our coaching business grew to 50 students, right? In 4 months, 50 brand new students in like 4 months. And these guys are paying us like 1 to 2K per student, right? So you can figure out the maths, right? So it grew very, very quickly by just in this economy, in this bad economy, by just because we had a skill set. We had something valuable that other people wanted and we sold it to them.
So, right, like back to my original thing, it's like you found a solution to a problem.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of people don't seem to understand is in this climate, if you want to be successful or you want to be make money, then sell a solution to the problem.
Yeah.
And you and your wife coach people on how to get jobs in tech sales, right? What's one piece of advice you give your clients that makes the biggest impact in their job search?
Message 20 people a day on LinkedIn and you will get any job that you want. What I mean by that specifically is like, so we've had 100 people over the last 2 years that we've helped get these tech sales jobs. 99.9% of them got those tech sales jobs through networking on LinkedIn. So if you put a goal of messaging 20 people a day on LinkedIn for the next 30 days, you will get 20 interviews and 5 offers, right? And that's the most important thing that we teach them, because jobs are given to people through referrals. 80 to 90% of tech jobs, or even high-end jobs like commercial finance and investment banking, are given to people through referrals. And every tech company has an incentive system. So if you work at Google and you bring your mate to work at Google, Google gives you like $5,000, sometimes $10,000 for the referral. So they're incentivized. If you can just message them and build a relationship with them, you ask them for a referral, you will get at least an interview. And then
have you got any friends left in Google?
Do you guys want jobs?
We can get you 10 grand.
7 restaurants.
Yeah, I'm good in restaurants. I can help in restaurants, Yeah.
Imagine that would be crazy.
So the problem is in job searching. People are not doing job searching, because I had one of the guys here a few weeks ago, Chutney and Chat. I don't know if you know Chutney and Chat. It's a networking event, right. And they just had their 9th, was it the 10th annual? 9th. Yeah. And again, I was asking, what's the big deal about networking? Because there's so many networking events that happen in and around Birmingham.
Yeah.
And it's the same people there. What's the big deal? Like, you know what he does, he knows what you do. Why do you need to meet up every week or every month?
I think 99.9% of people perceive networking in the wrong way. So what most people think about networking is, this guy has something that I want, so I'm going to DM him and get the thing that I want from him. Whereas the way that you have to think about it is, well, first you have to have a specific goal in mind. So if I was like just graduated university and I wanted a tech sales job, the first thing I would do is I would create a list of 10 to 20 people that have the power to give me that tech sales job. And then I would strategically think about adding value to their life and build a relationship with them over a couple of months. And at the end of that 3-month relationship, I would have the ask, which is, hey, can you give me a referral into your tech company? And then you get the job. Whereas what most people do is like, oh, that guy seems really successful and rich and famous. Let me just DM him, hey, bro, do you have 15 minutes for a coffee chat? Of course I don't, man. Why would I talk to you? Why would I have 15 minutes for a random stranger? What value do you add to my life?
Yeah.
Or they go to random networking events in person. I've been to some networking events in Birmingham. A lot of them are not good because there's no value in it for someone.
See, that's what I mean. Like, network, and most of the time it's the same people in that networking event.
Yeah.
And I asked him, what's the big deal? Because once you know what one person does, you don't need to be reminding yourself how he does that, he does that, he does that. So he said it's more because you want to stay in their face. Right. I don't know if that's business to business or consumer to business. I don't know. But I personally find them, I mean, it's okay. I mean, for what we do, we just go there to show our face. And only like, we've been to a couple of them. We haven't been to each and every single one of them. If I was in that...
Intentionally though, we don't want to show us everywhere. Like we're easily accessible. So
yeah, it's more strategic, you know, like, oh, them guys are there. That's it.
And I think the other thing that people don't seem to understand is that most networking these days is done online. You guys met each other online. We met online through a WhatsApp group that we had together in 2019. The internship that I landed at Google actually was through a guy that I messaged on LinkedIn. I made a post about it on TikTok.
Wow.
So a lot of the networking stuff right these days is done online. So that's why you need to have a good looking personal brand, whether that's a TikTok or an Instagram or a podcast, like what you guys are doing. This is great. Like you're building your personal brand. You're attracting the people that you want to work with, your partnerships and your future business partners.
In your experience, what are the most common mistakes people make when transitioning into tech sales?
I think the first thing I would say is that tech sales is getting a lot more competitive now. Like there's so many content creators on TikTok. There's so many influencers talking about it just because, you know, you can make a lot of money and you can work remote. So it's really like, it's really interesting. I think the biggest mistake they make is, again, they just mass apply to jobs thinking that they have a chance. Whereas there's so many people applying to the same jobs, you have no chance. What you have to do instead is build a personal brand, build a networking plan, go to in-person events, build relationships with people, and tap into that referral scheme that these tech companies have. That's all you have to do. And I mean, obviously, you still need to build up your skill set. So the main skills to learn is cold calling. So like building a cold calling script. Cold calling is tough, man. You know, people put the phone down on you. Like it's unnatural, right? But you have to learn the skill of cold calling because the job is calling people on the phone, cold emailing, LinkedIn prospecting, sales methodologies, all that kind of stuff. You can learn that stuff online for free. And then from there, build a networking plan, right? Because if you don't do that, you're not going to get into this.
I mean, that was coming to my next question was, what qualities or skills do you think are most important for someone to succeed in tech sales today?
I think the most important one, like, and you can actually talk about this when you have interviews with these companies, is being money hungry. So again, unlike traditional careers like commercial law, investment banking, being a doctor, being an accountant, where if you talk about money in these careers, you're like the black horse. You get outed. Like you're like, oh, he's the bad guy. He likes money. Whereas in a tech company, in a sales job, if you don't talk about wanting to get rich and get rich quickly, they will be like, who the hell is this guy? Why is he working in software sales? Because that's what people do. They want to make money. Like, I want to get rich, bro. That's why I'm working in sales. Why the hell would I wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, make 300 cold calls?
Yeah.
Because I want to get rich. So you have to be money hungry. Because if you're not money hungry, it's a brutal job. You're not going to survive.
Wow. So, tell me, people who wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
It's like the world's sleeping. Unless you're working for someone in a different part of the world, right. It's understandable.
Yeah.
But in UK, people wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Oh, I'm going to start my day at 5 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, but what are you going to do at 5 o'clock in the morning after you've done your gym session, which is about half an hour, 40 minutes? Just do an hour.
Yeah.
It's 6 o'clock now. Everyone's sleeping. The people that are going to be up, those are the guys like the CEOs and stuff are getting ready for the day.
Yeah.
So what exactly is the whole mindset behind waking up at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning? Because technically everyone is working. Everyone is sleeping.
Yeah.
They wake up at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
So by the time they wake up, you're tired again.
Yeah, it's like the other way around. Yeah, look, I mean, I'm one of those guys. I told you guys earlier. I wake up at 5. Like I've been doing that, right?
Oh, nice.
I've got a. So me and two of my really good friends, we have a challenge going on, and the challenge is to wake up at 5 o'clock every morning. And we have a few other things in the challenge, but the main reason that we wake up at 5 is because, like, both of them work as well. They have full-time jobs and they run a business on the side. So the reason that I wake up at 5 is because I want to do a solid 3 to 4 hours on my coaching business, then start my full-time job in tech, do that until 5, 6 p.m. And then after that, I can have the evening to myself and to my family and to my wife, right? Like go out maybe or do something else. So in a way, I have to wake up at 5. But I think if you're the average person, or not the average person, but even if you're like a business owner or whatever, you don't need to wake up at 5 because you have one thing that you do between a certain time. Yeah. Whereas I do 2 things. So if you do 2 things, I think it's really good to wake up really early. That way you can get a lot of work done and then start your full-time job and then socialize or whatever else you do in the evening.
But can you do the other way? Do your work on your business in the evening?
Yeah.
And have a nice sleep.
The thing is, the earlier that you wake up, I think the more focused you are. So really hard things that require a lot of brain power is best to do in the morning because there's no distraction. You know, like no one's around, no one's calling you, no one's messaging you. There's nothing, right? So, but yeah, the less complicated stuff you can do in the evening. It's just like how a lot of these successful people or productive people do a lot of the complicated stuff in the morning. So like the hard stuff, the complicated stuff, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, and then they get on with the meetings and the admin stuff in the afternoon. It's just the basic productivity thing, really.
Have you ever tried flipping it around and see what happens?
I have, and it was pretty chaotic. Like really? I feel like being a night owl, so that person that works really late into the evening, unless that's your business, like you run a restaurant or whatever,
yeah, which
is totally fine. But if you don't run a business like that and you're like a office worker, to go to bed at night at 2 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the morning, it'll mess up your entire system. Your health will be ruined. Your sleep, you'll be messed up. I've done that, and it messes you up.
Yeah, it does.
Like I woke up at 5 today. I did loads of work on my business. I called some people. I called some friends. I came here to do this podcast. And
every time I wake up, I used to wake up at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, go gym, right? Start my day nice and early, brilliant. 11 o'clock, when everyone's kind of getting on with it, I'm in the office sleeping. Yeah. And you think, what? And my friends are not awake at 5 o'clock in the morning. I've got no one to call, or nothing's happening in my life at 5 o'clock in the morning. So I thought, forget this.
Yeah,
I'm gonna stick with normal. But just wake up an hour early, 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock is good. Yeah.
8 o'clock. Do your workout, a bit of it in the morning, cardio. Do your steam shower, get ready. 9 o'clock, boom. Then the kids wake up and the wife wakes up, and you kind of get on with your day.
Yeah.
But I never understood when people say, "Yeah, I wake up at 5 in the morning."
Yeah.
So, to do what?
To most people, it's
unless you're seriously. Even when people say, "Oh, I'm working on my business," but 5 o'clock. Who are you going to call? What exactly? You could wake up at 8 o'clock and work on your business. Yeah. I never understood that, to be honest with you. Yeah. Maybe I'm just maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyways, looking back, how did your time in digital marketing influence your decision to moving into the tech sales? Were there are particular moments when you realized sales was your calling?
That's a really good question, man. I realized that sales was the right job to go into when I met another TikToker, actually. His name is Tom Tech Sales. He was my mentor. I took his program in 2021. He's got like 250,000 followers on TikTok now. When I spoke to him on the phone, he was actually working at Google. He was a senior level role. He had a senior level role, and he was like 30 maybe. And at that point, he was making like more than $500,000 a year. And I'm like, hang on a second, I want to do that. So people telling, like, I had a lot of people telling me, bro, you should work in sales. You should work in sales. You can make a lot of money. Because I actually didn't know that you can make a lot of money. So then over time, I was like, I had that marketing agency. It was making a couple of grand, 5, 10K a month. But I was like, I don't want this for the rest of my life. I'd rather work for a tech company and try and make a lot more money. Yeah, and have that free time on the weekends as well.
So are you doing your the marketing company as well, or are you just packing?
No, I stopped that like 4 years ago. I completely stopped it to work full time in tech sales and my coaching business.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's roughly, not obviously we don't want to go into figures. Roughly how much through just your coaching business are you kind of making? Just, you don't have to.
Yeah, I think so. The coaching business roughly, so the biggest month we had was like 15K in revenue, £15,000 in revenue. So obviously that's revenue, right? That's not profit.
Yeah.
But I think,
good.
and yeah, it's still very good because we just started a very short while ago.
August, did you say?
August 2024.
Last year?
Yeah.
That's really good.
So that's not bad. That's not bad.
And that is that combined with your wife as well together, or just?
Yeah, so we run the business together. We run the business together.
Okay.
Yeah, we run the business together.
That's amazing. It's something that is on the side, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a obviously I want to do my coaching business full time.
Yeah.
Like I don't see myself in tech sales when I'm 40. Obviously, like I want to have my own independence. I think as this is like my controversial take on this, right?
Yeah, go on.
As a Muslim guy, as a Muslim Asian guy, if you're a minority, you shouldn't be working in corporate. You should not be working in a corporate job because you're going to be screwed over one day. You should have your own business. You should have your own independent, online, whatever, physical business, so that no one can tell you what to do. Because in a job, if you disagree with your manager, if you disagree with the values of the company, you'll get chucked out, you'll be blacklisted, and you'll be screwed forever. So my goal is to build my own coaching business to whatever 6-7 figure business, and quit and go full time into that, because I don't see myself in corporate for the rest of my life. It doesn't align with my values.
Especially in this day.
Especially in the UK in 2025. If you're a Muslim guy or even a Muslim girl or an Asian guy, you're screwed if you stay in corporate for a long, long time. Because eventually one day you will disagree with something with someone at work, whether that's, you know, we don't need to get into the specifics of it, right? But we have specific beliefs. I think people
know what we're talking about.
We have specific beliefs. We have a specific culture. We have specific norms. A lot of these corporate companies, they're leftists, right? They have these leftist beliefs. We don't agree with those beliefs, right? And one day you're going to disagree with that, and you will get blacklisted. You will get chucked out. So it's better to have your own business, like you do, right? It's you should have your own business and live on your own terms. Live with your own business,
100%.
and especially with AI. We were talking about AI earlier. I actually work in an AI company, so I work at Stability AI, which is one of the biggest AI companies in the world. So I know what's going on in the world of AI at a very high level. So a lot of these AI companies, these AI tools are getting so advanced, right? For example, OpenAI released a tool called Operator. Now it can do whatever you want it to do. It will control your computer. So if you tell it to book a hotel for you in Turkey, Istanbul, 4-bedroom, your budget is 1K, by the beach, from the 3rd to the 8th of March, it will do that for you in 1 second. No need for Airbnb, no need for a travel agent, no need for you to click anything. So it's going to get so advanced that a lot of these basic jobs will get wiped out anyway. So you need to have your own business and you need to do your own thing so that you're free from this whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, what would you say to people who are actually scared that the fact that AI will take their jobs?
The thing is, it's good to be scared because AI will take their jobs, right? No, seriously, if you look at the most powerful...
We're not bullshitting anymore. They are coming for you.
The most powerful man on the planet, Donald Trump, from the most powerful country on the planet, with the most powerful companies on the planet, OpenAI, and the most powerful investment banker on the planet, what's his name, Jisoo Sung or whatever, he runs SoftBank. SoftBank literally owns the planet. It's a VC fund, okay? What a VC fund invests the money of rich people in companies. SoftBank actually manages the money of the sovereign wealth fund of Saudi Arabia. Okay, so the hundreds of billions that Saudi Arabia has is actually controlled by SoftBank, which is a VC fund. They invest in all of these tech companies. So recently, all these powerful people got together and they said, we're going to invest 500 billion into AI infrastructure, which basically means in 5 years or 3 years, or whatever timeline, there's going to be such a good infrastructure set up that these AI robots will be possible. Like AI cleaners, AI mechanics, AI pilots, like these robots, it will be possible because the infrastructure will be set up by that time, right? The reason that people are now able to use the internet and smartphones is because the World Wide Web, the infrastructure for that was set up already, right? So the infrastructure for AI will be ready in the next 5 to 10 years. And then every job will be taken over. Wow. So you should be scared.
Maybe we can get the AI to finish off the HS2.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, yeah.
Might do a quicker job, you know. Because these bloody environmentalists never let anything happen in this country. That's the problem. But yeah, like I said earlier, for people who are scared of AI, and the robots and they're gonna take over our jobs and all that. Make sure you are the owner of those robots.
Exactly. Yeah, just like you said. Yeah.
I was thinking about that, and I usually have these thoughts come up to me on my throne, and when you're sitting on your throne and you're just thinking about life.
That throne's great, isn't it?
Yeah, and it came to me, and I was like, wow, make sure you're the owner of those robots, but then you're right.
Yeah. The business owners, whether it's a small business owner, a medium-sized business owner, a corporate business owner, will be the winners. They will rule the world. Like your everyday employees will be wiped out. And the smartest economists, the smartest people on the planet believe that there will be a basic universal system of income. So what will happen in 5 years' time? The smartest people on the planet believe that. The highest IQ people believe that. And in 5 years' time, there will be a basic universal income system, which basically means that everyone on the planet will get £500 each, and you will live on that £500 a month each, right? Because there won't be jobs. AI will take all of it. Like, they believe that.
That's all right then.
Yeah, but but then you won't have your freedom. You won't have your free will. You won't have your you won't be able to buy anything you want, right? The reason that you're able to do whatever you want right now is because you can make more than 500. You can make less than 500, but you can definitely make a lot more than 500.
Yeah.
What if they just gave you £500 a month and that's all you could spend? You're screwed.
Wow. That thought is scary, That thought is scary for a common man. If you're not gonna get your finger out your ass now, literally, like it's a scary thought. Imagine getting paid £500, but you can't do anything without their knowledge. There's no free will.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it even now, the average person, even in the great United Kingdom, is screwed, right? What's the average salary in the UK? 30k, 40k? £30,000 in the great United Kingdom in 2025, with all due respect, is laughable, right? Because of the cost of living.
Yeah.
The rent, you can spend £1,000 a month in Birmingham to live. Like, I was living in London and rent is like £2,500 to £3,000 a month. If you're making £30,000 a month, your rent is more than your entire income. So the average person is screwed anyway. I mean, they're screwed at a completely different level. Wow. You either get a really high paying job, or you start your own business, or you wait for AI to give you £500 a month. Those are the three options that you have left.
Giving you money with stipulations.
Yeah, that is.
Those are the three options that you have left.
Well, this is why we have great people like you who help others make a change in their life, and people who think for others, if you know what I mean, right? Because you don't have to. You're doing well, mashallah. You're doing your thing, but the thought of helping others, that in itself is very noble. And when you know what's happening and you work for AI companies,
yep,
and you know what the what's coming sooner or later,
yep,
it's a scary thought,
Yeah,
it's a very scary thought. I'd never thought about the whole £500. It's probably not £500, but whatever it is.
Yeah, it's a basic concept, right? So it's just again, when the smartest people on the planet believe a certain thing, that's kind of true. Like you kind of believe.
Yeah. Because they've got the money and they'll make it happen.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
We don't have the Saudi money.
We don't have the Saudi money. Yeah.
The VC fund, is it?
Yeah. So it's venture capital. So venture capital, they invest in companies. You have private equity that invests in
So they know what they're doing. So.
Yep. Yeah.
And that's what they want to do. But so basically, they're just investing into their own plans. Really.
They're investing into their own global plan. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I think the main reason, if you really think about it, the main reason that people like Andrew Tate and The Matrix and all the stuff got popular recently is because it's true.
Yeah.
It's not because it's bullshit. It's because it's actually true. So that's why a lot of people know Andrew Tate and like his stuff and blah, 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 The Matrix stuff. Blah,
what do you think of him?
I don't think much of him, to be honest, because I feel like, you know what it is? I actually haven't met someone successful or impressive that watches Andrew Tate. If you look at the demographic of Andrew Tate, it's your typical 18 to 25-year-old guy who's usually broke. They don't have a degree. They don't have a job. They don't have a business. and again, working in AI and working on TikTok and doing all this kind of stuff, I've met a few people that have money and they have a business. They don't watch people like Andrew Tate because they don't need to watch someone like Andrew Tate. You know what I mean? They have a successful job or they have a successful business. They have good family. They have good morals already. They don't need to watch a random guy on TikTok who shows off with women and cigars and supercars. At the end of the day, his system is to sell you a course, right? Yeah. He gets rich by selling 18-year-olds and 14-year-olds a course on how to get rich. So it's I don't think much of him, to be honest.
Because I met someone who actually, we had him here, who was on one of his courses. Mm-hmm. And he said, the whole £50 kind of month kind of thing. And I said to him, how was it? Like, is it what he says it is, Right. And he said, it's good. I'm not going to say that it wasn't good. They have got loads of mentors, teachers, lecture, and then they give you loads of information and a bit of a how to do X, Y, and Z, whichever subject or the field that you want to go into, and that's what it is. You do pick up. He said, look, you do pick up things. Yeah. And that's the whole point, because they're not gonna hold your hand and take you to $1 million thing. Of course, yeah. They give you the information, and that information is there. They do provide that, so it's not like a scam. But yes, it's more of a pyramid scheme kind of thing.
I don't think Andrew Tate is a scam. I think
he's a very clever guy.
He's a marketing genius. Yep. He became the most popular person on earth in existence in a year. He's a super genius. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He basically created the whole system of shorts where we make a podcast, we turn this into 1,000 clips, we give it to 1 million people, they post it on their 1 million YouTube accounts, and it goes mega viral, right? So of course he's a genius. I don't think he's a scam, but I don't think successful people are following Andrew Tate. I don't think the guy that's creating OpenAI is sitting down watching Andrew Tate. He doesn't need to. It's your typical 18-year-old guy. To be fair, what's the option for an 18-year-old guy from a poor background, right?
Not an option, but his dream.
Yeah. So no, I think they have two options. One is to do nothing because they have nothing else. Two is to watch Andrew Tate and do his course, which is, to be fair, a better thing, right? Yeah. Like, because if you think about it, a lot of these guys that are young, especially men these days, look how screwed over men are getting. Like, you have feminists, you have leftists, you have propaganda. Like, men, especially young men, are getting screwed over in every single way. You have looks maxing, you have black pill, like you have all these things that are attacking the average young guy. The average young guy is screwed over. So, I mean, I think Andrew Tate is a net positive on the average young person's life, but I don't think I would ever need to watch Andrew Tate to do what I need to do.
Yeah, I mean, no, if you come out from Google, you're right, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even just that though, right? I think it's if you're just inquisitive enough and you're curious enough and you do your own reading and you go to school and you work hard, you don't need to watch Andrew Tate.
But I think I'd still stick with him in one sense where the positive masculinity, what a man should do and shouldn't do. I go with that with him.
To be honest,
like at the end of the day, he's a human. He's never going to be 100% right.
Yeah.
No one is 100% perfect.
Yeah.
But I just like to take good stuff from people.
Yes, that's the best way.
I agree. And whatever I don't agree with.
Yeah.
I don't need to kind of associate myself with that.
I totally agree. I think that's literally the best way to go about it. Take the best things, leave the worst thing. Having said that, look, I think especially in the Muslim community, Andrew Tate has become like a big figure. At the end of the day, he's literally talking bad about our communities on Twitter. Mm-hmm. He's ruining the Asian community in the UK. He's trying to run for president or prime minister or whatever.
Yeah,
exactly. It's called bruv. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but the thing is, people like that are actually enemies of what we are, of our culture, right? Because maybe he's not an enemy, but he's basically using propaganda against Muslims and Asians on Twitter to get white supremacists to start voting for his party, bruv, right? I don't know if you guys have seen that recently.
Yeah.
But that's literally what he's doing. He got big because a lot of the big Muslim influencers started pushing him. Like Muhammad Hijab, So Muhammad Hijab started pushing him. His other boys started pushing him, and now he's ruining the Muslim Asian community.
The whole brotherhood kind of that
exactly.
were following him.
Yeah, and now he's screwing them over. He's talking about the grooming gangs, all this crap. He's making shit up. He's lying about this stuff. He's ruining the. Even on TikTok today, I was looking at some lives. There's huge protests going on in London. I don't know if you guys saw it today.
No, I haven't.
It's all this extremist right people that are protesting against immigrants, against people like us, right? Like
Wow.
they and people like Elon Musk and Andrew Tate are fueling stuff like that on Twitter. They're literally fueling it. Tommy Robinson, he's being pushed by Andrew Tate.
Wow.
So how could you follow someone like that that's pushing a...
Exactly. It's from one extreme to all of a sudden to one extreme to another extreme.
I think that's why he's a genius. He says the craziest shit against leftist people. So people like us Muslims, they're like, he's on our side.
It happened,
and
right?
we pushed him, and
it happened. That's exactly what...
But that's why it's clever. So there's a very clever marketing guy that recently said, the best way to go big on TikTok or social media in 2025 is to say things that 50% of the world agrees with you on, and then the other 50% of the world disagrees with you on. So when he first started, he was all about masculine, Muslim, this and that, and all of us were on his side. And now he's completely against the Muslim and Asian community, and now all the white supremacists are on his side, right? So he's going one side, and then he's like flipping to the other side. Isn't he? And again, what's happening at the end of all this? He's getting richer.
Wow.
He's the only guy that's making all the money from this. No one else is. So that's my analysis of the Andrew Tate situation.
It's true, because we had my friend Sunny Araf, and he was saying the same thing. He was like, how could you do it? And I said, sometimes take a step back. Our own community, they don't help themselves either.
That's true. I totally agree.
We do the most dumbest shit ever. You go to our Asian areas, they're just dirty.
I totally agree.
Why? These are the basic things that we should be aware of ourselves. Our mentality is not there.
Yeah.
So, of course, when someone says something, they're not gonna say to you. They're gonna say to the bigger picture. Mm-hmm. They'll say, "Look, they're all like that."
Yeah.
Because majority of us are like that.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's again talking about this, the Asian community thing, right? Education in the Asian community is not highly looked at. So what again, if you think about in our communities, what's highly looked at or what's highly praised, what car does this guy have?
Yeah.
What clothes is this guy wearing? What chain is this guy wearing? What does he look like, right? It's not like what university did this guy go?
Slightly back from the mic because
it's. Sorry. Is that better?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Just normal. Yeah.
Like what university? They never ask what university did this guy go? What job does he have? What business does he have? You're right. We shoot ourselves in the foot. And the other thing about the Asian community is that we never support each other. We're always jealousy. We've got a whole concept. It's called the evil eye, right? In Islam, it's called the evil eye because it's true. Your own brothers and sisters in this community, they don't want you to do well, man.
They don't.
They will screw you over.
So I think what happened with Tate first thought, okay, whoa, wow, great. But when he saw everything, he thought, forget this.
Yeah. He probably got screwed over.
Yeah.
He probably went to Dubai thinking, hey, I'm Muslim as well now. Let's work together. They probably stabbed him over and stole his stuff. And they're like, hang on a second. This is the community that I'm joining?
You never know. You never know.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. And I always, rather than looking at someone else or what someone else is saying about us, I always look at our own people and think, maybe he's right. I don't know.
I think you need to promote independent thinking. If that's what you learn that. You display it very well. Andrew Tate displays that well too. But independent thinking, nobody does that.
Independent thinking.
They listen to Andrew and say, we'll do whatever he says.
Yeah.
Or we'll do what Elon says. Or we'll do what Michael Jordan says, because he's got some influence. That's what we'll do. But no, just think for yourselves. Because whenever I watched Andrew Tate, I would laugh, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I was like,
this is nonsense. Yeah.
Outlandish thing ever that he said.
Yeah.
People are falling for it.
Exactly. It's so crazy. And the thing is, whatever he was teaching in our community, in our culture, in our religion, we already know that. You know what I mean? We already know masculine. We already know what a man is. We already know what a woman is. We already know who the provider is. We already know what you should do. We already know what you shouldn't do. Yeah. We don't need a random guy
for validation.
A bold random guy telling us what to do or how to live. We don't need that. We already have our religion. We already have our beliefs. We already have our culture.
Yeah, exactly. But anyways, that was that's it's a nice insight because it's nice to get to know what people think of him now.
Right.
Because 6
I
months
think
or
everyone's
a
awake
year
now.
later.
I think everyone's awake now.
Before everything was like, he's brilliant.
He's the main. Yeah,
he's brilliant. He's this, is that, and I still think he's brilliant at what he does. I've never changed.
Yeah.
Yes, like I says, take the good stuff, what he says. If
Yeah.
it makes sense to me, yep, okay, that's right. That's nonsense. I don't need that.
Yeah.
That he's rubbish there. Okay, this is good. Fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Like you said, independent thinking.
Yeah.
Take the goods, leave the bads. You've got the rest anyway. And anyways, let's talk about mindset and personal growth. What role does failure play in your journey? Can you share a failure that ended up being a valuable lesson for you?
Yeah, I think failure is massive, man. So when I was trying to get a really good internship when I was at university, again, I went to Coventry University, which is a terrible university, and everyone that I was competing with were from top universities, rich backgrounds, blah, 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 blah. And I was really struggling. I had 30, 40, 50 interviews. I kept getting rejected. And it was really disheartening, honestly, until I actually started working on my interview skills, on my job application skills. And obviously, in the end, I landed that role, which was pretty good. So that was like a really big failure example. I think what failure does to you, it fundamentally improves you as a person, as a human being. Like even starting businesses, I've started little businesses so many times since I was 16. Mm-hmm. Failure, just like over and over and over again, and until one works, So I think the main thing I have about self-development is that I think the main thing I would say is not to compare yourself to anyone. So you always see people on TikTok, right? And they're doing really well. They have a Ferrari, They have a big car, blah, blah, blah. The worst thing you can do is compare yourself, especially as a young guy, comparing yourself to someone else. It will eat you from the inside. Just compare yourself to the one that you were yesterday. Improve yourself every single day. And never, ever, ever in a million years be jealous of people. That's the worst thing. That's a disease of the mind. It's even forbidden Islamically to be jealous and compare yourself. So don't be like that, and everything will work out.
That's really important. What you just said about, jealousy is a disease.
Yeah. Comparison.
Because a lot of people now do that because of social media.
Yeah. And the main thing that you can do, by the way, so I haven't used my personal Instagram and my personal Facebook for like over a year now. I haven't used it. I just used the TikTok one for my coaching business, but I haven't used my personal one because it was building inside me. I was comparing myself to other people that either looked better or had more money or had a better car or had a bigger house. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this is so stupid. Every day that I'm waking up, I'm watching someone else's story, living through someone else's life, comparing myself to another man like a loser. And I'm going backwards in my life and I'm giving this guy all the attention. So I stopped using it. So I think that's the biggest thing you can do. Stop using the shit. If you're using it, use it for education or for building your personal brand. If you're not using it for that, it's a disease and it will destroy you. So just stop doing it.
Now, what does success mean to you now? After so many failures.
Yep.
Now that you've had multiple success in multiple fields, what does success mean to you?
I think what I would love to do, when I'm like 40, 50 years old, is to really help our own community. So again, I'm from Afghanistan, immigrant, disprivileged background. I think what I would love to have is a situation where we have a really big education company or a really big school or a really big podcast or a really big brand where we can help our own people. Because our people
Fitpod.
Yeah, exactly.
Kabul.
Takes over Kabul.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Something like this, right?
Let's not take over Kabul.
Yeah, man, a lot of people have failed.
Yeah,
a lot of people have failed to do that. People with a lot of money.
A lot of money, yeah. But I think that would be my definition of success, man. Helping your own people. I think that's the biggest thing for me. I would love. I'll say I'm successful when I can help my own people. Yeah.
Could that be one, or is there a number of people?
No, I think it's just like you said. Before we even did this podcast, you said you started this podcast to basically help even a single person, like change their mindset or have that be that dynamo in that first dynamo to fall. I think that even if it's one person that I can help from our community is my definition of success. I don't care if it's 1 or 1 million.
Alhamdulillah, no, that's the right mindset. And that brings me to my next question is, because you've already answered the question of, financial independence and AI and where it's going to be and where it's going to go.
Yeah.
You've already answered that question. So the question after that is, what's your take on traditional education versus the alternative paths like the online courses or boot camps, especially when it comes to fields like tech sales and digital marketing?
Yeah, I think, look, the traditional education doesn't stand up to someone who's teaching you on a one-to-one personalized basis. There's no comparison. So what I didn't mention earlier is when I did do my bachelor's at Coventry University, I actually ended up doing a master's at UCL, which is a top 10 university on the planet, right? It was a £40,000 degree, a master's degree, right?
Wow.
And it was a complete, utter waste of stupid time. I swear to God.
I thought you were going to say
No.
it was a complete, fantastic...
No. It was a complete, utter, stupid waste of money scam. Because everything that I learned on that 40 grand was if I actually spent it on someone and they mentored me on a one-to-one personalized, customized basis on a specific thing, I would be a lot more successful than I. The only thing that the UCL thing helped me, the masters, was the brand name, which is obviously really, really important. But still, so I think if you're trying to learn anything, tech sales, digital marketing, online business, find someone. They don't have to be Andrew Tate or one of these big guys, obviously. Find someone who's local, who's a little bit smaller. Pay them whatever, a couple of grand, and then get the specific one-to-one personalized, customized attention, and then copy everything that they teach you, compared to doing a degree on these things.
Do you reckon?
100%.
So do you reckon then, how important is that brand name of a university? Do you think that people still want to hire, for example, Oxford graduate because he comes with a brand and he's thick as shit? Right? Not thick as shit, but...
Yeah.
And somebody who doesn't go to university but is absolutely would outsmart him.
Look, I think even now, people would still rather hire Oxford and Cambridge graduates. So if you had 1 million out of 1 million times, any employer would prefer an Oxford and a Cambridge graduate compared to a non-Oxford and a Cambridge graduate. 100%, 1 million out of 1 million times. That's just a fact, because the brand name is too powerful. Even your perception of someone that went to Oxford and Cambridge compared to someone who went to Coventry is like worlds apart. Even if they're not clever, your perception is this guy's a genius. So it's still like that in certain industries, especially like commercial law, investment banking, being in healthcare. But I think in other industries like tech, it's not as much. It's not as much, you know. Yeah.
See, that's what I meant. Like in tech. So do you think it matters?
In tech, I don't think it matters as much. But still, if you're really young, or if you're like a parent and you're thinking about sending your kids to university, if you're going to send them, make sure they go into...
Don't send them to Coventry University.
You'll
ruin the future.
If you send them to Coventry University, you're screwed. Okay? Make sure, if you are going to spend all that money and time, make sure they go to a top university. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's like doing anything in life. If you're going to do anything, you might as well go to the top, right? Surely.
Yeah. It's no point just...
being a mid-range.
But what about sometimes certain universities are the top end in a certain subject?
Yeah. No, that actually has merit.
Cov Uni is one of the top end unis for automotive industry. You know, a lot of these top end automotive companies come to get their graduates from there. Yeah. So it's really well known. So again, it depends.
It does depend. I totally agree.
What subject?
I totally
don't just go not go to Coventry University for the sake of it.
Yeah, I think if you're talking about if the goal, if the North Star, obviously this is not the North Star for a lot of people, but if the North Star is to be super rich or have a lot of power, it is only Oxford and Cambridge that exists. Nothing else exists. Like the richest people, the most powerful people on the planet, the VCs, PEs, presidents, prime ministers, lords, Oxford and Cambridge. If the goal is not that and you just want to have a decent job, then obviously go to any university. I'm talking to the 0.001% elite.
I suppose that's a different
Goal.
subject then as well.
Not necessarily.
In politics.
No.
Because university, like Oxford, I don't think they do automotive industry.
No, I mean,
design
any
there,
degree at those universities, you're going to be successful. That's just a fact, unless you die, right? Like if you look at people that I'm talking about the 0.001% of the elites of the world, that run the banks, that run the investment banks, the corporates.
So, yeah, the corporate industry. Yeah.
Yep.
I suppose that's for the Oxford and the Cambridge and the politics and corporates of finances and all that. But I'm talking about like if it's a design degree or
of course for those it's different. I'm not talking about those at all. Because I'm not in that space. I don't know anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I went to Luton University at same time as Tate. I don't know if he was there or not. I did see a bald guy walking about. I don't know. But that university is really good for graphic design. It had his mark. Coventry University is really good for Matthew Bolton. Back in the days, was really good for graphic design. I went there. They had their whole kind of thing. But the rest of the college was pants.
Yeah.
But it didn't really matter to me because I had nothing to do with the rest of the college.
Yeah.
But for that department, they had everything. Like it was really well.
It's like Wolverhampton University. It's really good for healthcare.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. It's literally one of the best ones. I had some school friends go there, and now they're optometrists. But you wouldn't study business
exactly
at Wolverhampton University.
Yeah.
Because you'll be screwed.
Yeah.
But if you're in a healthcare job, Wolverhampton University is actually a great choice.
Okay. That's an unpaid plug there from Wolverhampton University.
They better
and a lot of this. Being part of the in a tech industry, what do you think the next 5 to 10 years look like in terms of job opportunities in tech space?
I think the biggest job will be a prompt engineer. A prompt engineer is someone who's able to properly talk to an AI model. So, for example, if you ask ChatGPT right now to write an essay versus a prompt engineer would write an essay in this way, in that way, this length, that degree, that pedigree, the answer that he will get will be 1,000 times different compared to the essay that you will get. So the biggest job in tech is going to be a prompt engineer, someone who's able to properly talk to an AI engine. Wow. A lot of these basic jobs like admin, HR, operations, I'm not saying that basic in a rude way, but like basic in terms of
course.
It's a very logical 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 job where it's very systematic, it's orderly. A lot of these jobs will get replaced. There will be AI tools for that. I think there will be a lot more emphasis on jobs that are a lot more creative and require a lot more thinking, like relationship-based jobs, engineering jobs, AI jobs, even design jobs, right? Like anything that's very creative and requires a certain type of person or relationship based will be the future, basically.
So I'm all right then if I start my design agency again.
Yes,
I'm all right. Okay.
Yeah.
That's.
Having said that, there's a million AI tools that do AI logo generation, but obviously you'd still pay someone to create a certain logo. Sorry.
Yeah.
To create a certain logo that the AI model just can't think of.
I suppose. But it does a lot of very good thinking, though. I mean, for just to kind of get ideas.
Yes.
Right now, text is very good, and text is like if you want like a copy created on.
To be honest, so
imagery is a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing. So the company that I work for, Stability AI, they create the models that generate 90 to 99% of the images that you see online that are AI generated. So they create the foundational model where when you text it, when you talk to the bot, it generates it. You use the engine created by this company, right? And it is getting incredibly good, right? Company, the biggest directors on the planet, James Cameron, the director of Titanic, that guy is on the board of Stability AI, and he wants to use tools like that to create Hollywood-grade movies. So the next Titanic that you will see in a cinema is going to be a whole generated movie by AI. You just need to prompt it, tell it to create Avatar 2.0. Not right now, in a couple of years, it will create an entire movie.
Going home, go check it out.
Yeah.
I've watched it already.
Yeah. That's how it will be, because that's the thing. So the people don't seem to understand what's going on in the background, right? A lot of these actors, Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio, all of these guys will get replaced because you don't need them to be on set. You don't need to go to a certain country, a certain set to create Avatar 2 or Titanic 2 or the next Batman movie. You can text, you can create it via a prompt. You can tell the AI, hey, I want a Batman movie with this actor in this way, 3 hours long, blah, 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 generate it. Bam. On the spot. So so it's getting there. It's getting there.
That shit's scary.
It's 1000%.
You're impressed with what ChatGPT does.
ChatGPT is nothing, man. ChatGPT is like
don't
level...
say that, man. ChatGPT
So ChatGPT is just like level 1. Imagine now you're able to talk to it and it already knows what you want at the highest level, at the deepest level. But on top of that, it has a physical layer, so it can interact with the physical world on a 3D level and create things for you simultaneously whilst you're talking to it. That's the future. So it's like having a genie in a bottle. I want that poster to be purple and this way in a physical object as a 3D object. Print it out for me right now. It will be able to do that. That's where we're going. That's a fact.
Replace that host. He's shit. Boom.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah. Let's put a woman in there next time. Get more views.
Yeah. 3D image generation is, physical product generation. It's been happening for 10 years.
Wow.
Like you're able to generate like CNC machines. Like that's
my brother's got a 3D printer, and but like for parts, machine parts, and you just because he could do the 3D visuals and stuff on CAD. And say, for example, if something that needs replacing in our store or something is broken, he'll do the same thing, measure it up, exactly the same thing, boom, print it. Yeah. And 2 days later, he's like, boys, I got the part, bam, done, it's working.
Now, it will come to a point where you don't need to wait for 2 days. You'll be like, hey, print a 4'4", whatever, midget, ginger, for this movie action scene. Bam! It will be able to do that. Wow. Because we already have CNC machines and CAD and 3D design. What's the next level up? Right? That's it.
Shit, it's scary, bro. And Zishan. Boom. Yeah. The guy, a better looking one. Boom. Yeah. It's there. Oh,
smarter one.
I'm already here. I'm not a real person. This is why it's working. That's why I got a phenomenal guest for you, mate.
Yeah. I think
actually, I didn't think of that.
What again, the other thing is the UK is actually at the frontier of a lot of this technology. So a lot of people think it's actually, so the godfather of AI, he was actually a professor at a university, at a UK university. So even companies like Stability AI, it's a UK based company. A lot of the deep research is being done in Cambridge and Oxford. And yeah, America has popularized AI through ChatGPT and blah, 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 and China with DeepSeek, blah, blah, blah. But the UK does a lot of the actual back-end research. So this is actually a great place to be for a lot of these AI advancements, even though it doesn't seem like it in Birmingham. But if you go to Oxford and Cambridge and central London, the next frontier of technology is being created as we speak in London today, in Oxford, in Cambridge.
The father of the internet was... He was a Brit, wasn't he?
A lot of people shit on the UK, and it has a lot of bad things about it.
Yeah.
But a lot of the world revolutions have started today. In the UK.
In the UK.
In the UK, yeah.
100%.
And AI is the same.
And a lot of world's problems have started from the UK as well.
Yeah.
So
it's a tiny little country, but it creates and controls so much.
Everything.
Yeah.
From politics. We know where I'm going with this, but these guys have started a lot of good and a lot of bad.
Yeah.
But it's just the way it comes across. They're very clever. Like says, if you want to be super rich and in that elite, where do they come from? Oxford and Cambridge. And
yeah, exactly.
Anyways, we're moving forward to the future of tech sales and coaching. With tech sales constantly evolving, where do you see the industry heading in the next 5 years? Second question, if someone is looking to make a career change into tech sales today, what be the first step you recommend they take to stand out in this competitive field?
Yeah, I think that the first part, again, there will be a lot of AI tools that will do a lot of the admin related part of the sales process.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, it will do a lot of the prospecting, a lot of the research stuff, a lot of the boring stuff that people don't want to do in a software sales role. And then you'll still have closers that do the actual closing and negotiation. And with regards to the second part, if you want to break into tech sales right now, again, the biggest thing to do is to create an ideal list of 10, 15, 20 companies that you want to work for, build a networking plan, which includes, messaging them on LinkedIn, messaging them, emailing them, cold calling them, going to an in-person event, building a relationship with them over a couple of months, and again, asking for that referral. Literally, one ask on LinkedIn can change your life. One, just private messaging someone on TikTok or Instagram or LinkedIn can be the beginning of an entire new existence for you in this reality.
See, this is what happened to Zishan.
Yeah.
He messaged me.
He messaged you on TikTok, right? And now he's
got a life-changing career.
Yeah,
with
he's
Fitpod.
got this podcast with you, and who knows where this podcast is going to go.
Exactly.
What if in 10 years' time this becomes a massive podcast? He started by messaging you on TikTok.
Absolutely. Don't ever forget that.
Yeah, that's it.
Don't ever forget that conversation.
I see your face every time. Every time I come in here.
I think a lot of people forget that these like, again, life-changing things happen by messaging strangers online.
Yeah.
Like a job, a career, a wife.
Yeah, but make sure it's the right stranger.
Yeah.
Not a random
Yeah.
stranger. It could either life-changing.
Yeah.
Yeah, life-changing. For the good or for the bad.
We don't know
even like dating apps for us,
Yeah.
like Muzmatch. People meet their wives and husbands on there
Yeah.
now. Like
It's
it's just getting over that fear of rejection and messaging people for a job, for money, for opportunities, for partnerships, for going on podcasts. You just have to get over the initial fear of someone saying no to you.
I want to make sure.
I actually saw the founder of Muzmatch. I was a bit scared to say hi to him because I was like, oh my god, he's just gonna tell me to go away. But he's a little guy.
I'd love to get him on,
You should. You 100% should. The guy is very good. Very, very good. They've actually introduced a social network within Muzmatch. So it's not a dating app anymore. It's actually like Facebook. You can make friends. You can go to events. You can do networking on there. It's really good. Yeah.
Oh, I'm married.
Yeah.
We need to get him on.
Find him on the Muzmatch. He's done.
Yeah. He's
Look at him, he's getting flashbacks.
No, we need to get him on.
Yeah.
On that platform and get him married off.
Yeah.
But last question before we wrap this up. What are your future plans for your coaching business, and what's the next step for you and your wife in terms of scaling and expanding business?
I mean, the goal is definitely to go full-time on the coaching business. Like I mentioned before, I don't want to be in a corporate matrix controlled by the dark lords. I want to be I want to make my own money and control my own destiny. And I think the main way to grow this business is to go and do these kind of things, partnerships, podcasts with the local podcast people and other companies, partnering up with other coaching businesses, going big on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a really good source right now because compared to TikTok, LinkedIn is actually a lot easier to grow on because you're not competing with people who are showing off Ferraris and
I suppose
that kind of stuff. It's a lot more professional,
Yeah.
So you guys should think about that actually. Maybe it'd be a fit as well. But I think those are the main things over the next 12 months. Inshallah, if things go well.
Inshallah, no, it's been it's really, really nice to see people doing well, especially from backgrounds, lesser privileged backgrounds, and then they come up and you think, wow, it's phenomenal what things can happen for people when they have the right mindset. And that's all it takes.
Yeah.
Here people have got everything, and I always say is they're lazy because they've got everything.
Yeah, they don't know what it's like not to have.
Yeah,
like we fast. It's Ramadan next month. We fast because you need to feel how it feels like to be hungry.
Yeah,
and when the first date that you have when you break your fast is the greatest feeling ever.
Absolutely,
you could be the richest man on the planet, and if you eat that date, you feel alive again. But if you eat dates every day, 10 of them a day, and you don't fast, it doesn't feel like anything.
True. But on that note, Bilal, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Likewise. Yeah.
Really, really nice. We've had a good conversation. Zay, have you got any other questions, mate? I think we've covered pretty much everything.
I think that was everything. Yeah.
It's been a really, really good. I really enjoyed it.
I would love to do one in like a year from now again.
Inshallah, definitely. Keep in touch. Yeah.
I'll come back and
see where you are now.
Hopefully,
And I'll see if we can get the owner of Muzmatch in as well.
Yeah.
Before that, get him on there, man. I really want to get him. I need a
Definitely.
wedding to go to, bro. So, before Ramadan, that's next. We've got 30 days, mate. Hook you up. But Bilal, once again, thank you very much, and all the best in everything that you're doing. Inshallah, hope it's a success, and keep in touch, bro.
Thank you very much.
And inshallah, I'll speak to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Inshallah. Thanks. Thank you, man. Very nice.
Fantastic.